I got it, Harry, please. Hi everybody, it's Monique from Okanagan Farm here at our new channel for creativity. I'm very excited that you're here. I hope that you'll spend time with me today and in the future. Give me ideas about things that you find inspiring, what you think of the projects that I'm working on. Today I wanted to go over the supplies that I use to make this hat, which is a hat that is for my niece Ryan. There will be a matching hat in a different colorway for her older sister Charlotte. We used Lion brand Baby Soft. This is colorway Little Girl Pink. Because this is a 3-weight and the stitch that I was using really needed more than that to be substantial enough, I doubled it up with a variegated that matched. So this is Baby Soft, Lion brand again, Baby Soft, in the colorway Circus Print. Now, this is not a particular pattern from a particular person that I followed. I have a tendency to look at multiple patterns and take what I like from them. There is no particular place for me to send you for a written pattern, but I really think that once you see it, you'll have an idea. This is, I would call this a beginner project. It was not very difficult at all, and honestly, I finished it in an afternoon. Don't know if you can tell, but it's quite pretty. It's a lot of variegation. It's quite fun, and I think it's heavy enough that it will keep her warm. For her sister, whose favorite color is purple, we have these. So these are also Lion brand Baby Soft yarns. This one, the colorway is called Pansy. I purchased a different variegated, which is in the pastel print colorway. I have 5.5 millimeter crochet hooks here. This one is wood. This would be, I believe, rosewood. The shape is lovely. I have much less pain using this particular type. This one is resin. Those are the crochet hooks that I'll be using. I have clover pom-pom makers. What I will do for you is I will link down below in the description box links to get the supplies that I'm using. Yeah, here he is. This is Harry. Harry, you want to say hi to everybody? They've come to us just this week from the shelter and they are still settling in. But I will say that they told us that they were 2 years old, and I'm going to say that that is malarkey, because these guys are still babies. If they're a year old, I'd be surprised. No, you cannot sponge on the hat. That is for Ryan. I will link these things as best I can, and I will put a link in the description box as well to the Furls website, so that if anybody is interested in checking out what they have to offer, you can. I don't know if you can see Harry's head. Harry, why don't you say hi to everybody? Come here. This is Harry. Hey, hi, Harry. He's not gonna. He's just gonna keep bugging me. So anyways, let's get back to it. This is the first project we're gonna work on. I hope that you guys will enjoy it. There will be matching scarves coming after we do the hats. Okay, back to it. Harry, you're killing me here. You're killing me. He has absolutely no idea about personal space or YouTube filming. This is just the way it is at our house recently. And we'll just all have to live with it. This is a puff stitch hat, and we are going to be crocheting this hat from the crown down. So we will be beginning with a magic circle. So let's get started. As I stated previously, for this particular project, I'm using 2 skeins of yarn. So this is how I create my magic ring. I take my yarn, I make a loop. You see how this is nothing more than just the beginning of, if you were going to make a knot, you would have, taken this and gone through the hole with it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just literally creating the loop. Now, I'm going to take my crochet hook, which this is an I 5.5 millimeter. I'm going to put my crochet hook through the loop, grab my working yarn, and pull up. So basically I've just pulled that through, and now I'm going to chain 1 to just lock it in place. There you go, folks. Magic loop. All done. Let's go over that again. I know a lot of people think it's really difficult or struggle with it, and lots of different people show you lots of different ways to do it. This is the way that I found to be very easy. Again, grab them, create the loop, crochet hook through, grab your working yarn just to create a loop to work with, and then chain 1. Now your ring is done. You're ready to start. So the first thing we're going to do is create puff stitches into this circle. And I'm just going to move my tail end out of the way a little bit here. So how do we do a puff stitch? Well, we're going to yarn over, put your crochet hook into the loop, pull it up. You've got 3 loops on your hook. On mine, it looks like 6 because I've doubled my yarn. Now you want to be sure that you've pulled up so you have a little bit of room in there and that these aren't super tight to the circle. Okay, puff stitches, you need to have a little bit of height on them. You don't want them to be super, super tight. Okay, the next thing, you're going to do the exact same thing again. You're going to, whoops, again, I'm going to move my tail end out of the way. So you're going to yarn over into the loop, pull up. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on your hook. Do it again. Over, into the loop, pull up. Now you have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On mine, it's 14 because I have double loops. Now grab your yarn, pull through all 7, tie it down. Okay, so we're going to do that 5 more times. Yarn over, into the loop, pull up. Yarn over, into the loop, yarn over, pull up. Okay, one more time. Yarn over, into the loop, yarn over, pull up. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now grab, pull through all, number 2, 4 more times. Yarn over, through, yarn over, pull up. Yarn over, through the loop, yarn over, pull up. Yarn over, through the loop, yarn over, pull up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Grab your yarn, pull through all 7, lock it down. So there's 3. We need 3 more. Yarn over, through the loop, yarn over, pull up. Yarn over, through the loop, yarn over, pull up. Yarn over, through the loop, yarn over, pull up. Pull through all 7. And twice more. Yarn over, loop, pull up. Yarn over, through the loop, pull up. Yarn over, through the loop, yarn over, pull up. Pull through all 7. And sometimes you gotta give it a little wiggle to get it through all 7. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 more. Yarn over, through the loop, pull up. Yarn over, through the loop, pull up. Yarn over, through the loop, pull up. Pull through all 7, loops on your hook, grab your yarn, chain to close. Now you've got 6 puff stitches in this loop. So what are we going to do now? You're going to grab that tail end, okay? pull, you can pull plenty out. Take your crochet hook if you want so that you can hold your stitches. Grab that tail end, pull, and it cinches that together. This has now become the top of your hat. So that's pretty simple. That's your first row, and that should have 6 stitches. Slip stitch, top first 2 pieces of yarn from the first stitch. Gonna slip through there, and there you go. The next row is all going to be puff stitches, just like we just made, but we're going to be increasing. So we're going to put 2 puff stitches in each chain space between the 6 puff stitches that we created our first row with. I'm going to create my first puff stitch, and you're going to pull this apart, and you see that hole where we just slip stitched. If you pull there, that is the first stitch we're going to work into. That's the first chain space, so to speak. So you're going to make sure that this is pulled up so you have a little bit of room. It doesn't need to be, you know, massive, but you need there to be a little bit of leeway. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to go right into that hole under our stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over through that hole, yarn over, pull up, yarn over through that same hole, yarn over, pull up. Now I've got 7 on my hook. You just can't see because they're bunching up, which is fine. We're going to yarn over, pull through. And again, sometimes you got to do a little maneuvering there to get it through. I grabbed it. Now we're going to chain 1 just to lock it in. Now, this is my first stitch of my second row. So I'm going to put my stitch marker in. I'm going to find the top where I brought my loop through. There was 1 loop when I brought my loop through all 7. And I'm just going to run this right underneath that stitch, so that I know that when I finish this row, that is where I'm slip stitching to combine my rows. And that's just going to keep that even for me. Or keep that marked so that I don't lose it. Now, because we are increasing, we are going to do a second puff stitch in that same space that we just created that first puff stitch in. So we're going to yarn over into the same chain space, yarn over again, pull up. Now you want your hook to be the height of the first one you made so that your puff stitches are fairly even. Yarn over through the same hole again, yarn over, pull up. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, there's number 6, through the hole, yarn over, pull up, there's number 7 on my hook. Yarn over, pull through all 7. Oh, sometimes it gets a little stuck at the end. Now you're going to chain 1 to lock it in. Okay, so we've got 2 puff stitches here in this one hole. I kind of think that I could maybe get away with 1 less stitch. So I'm going to see how that looks on this. And for some reason, I feel like this particular color is a little thicker than the pink, because basically 3 double crochets, which is what you're creating, did not bunch as much as these ones seem to be. So let's try that with just 2. Yarn over into the hole. Okay. Yarn over into the hole, yarn over, pull up. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to yarn over into the hole, pull up. Now I've got 5 on my hook. 5 pair of yarn because I'm doubling. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is where I'm going to pull through and see. Oh, what is it, Harry? Pull through, chain to lock it. Oh, what is it? And then we're going to put our stitch marker in right there. This was the stitch that we pulled through all of our loops on our hook. Hi, Harry. This is Harry. All right, so that looks a little bit better. I'm going to try the next one and see how well that does. Harry, please don't step on my laptop. So we're at the top of that first puff stitch. We're going to yarn over into the same hole, yarn over, pull up, yarn over into the same hole, yarn over, pull up. Harry has discovered that yarn is fun. So we're going to move Harry. There you go, buddy. All right. Now, where was I? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now we're going to yarn over, pull through all 5 on the hook, and then chain 1 to lock it in. I feel like that is a little bit less crowded looking. So let's go on with that. And that's the great thing. Once you understand a stitch, you can basically alter it to fit what you need if you don't like the way it looks initially. Harry, buddy. Harry is now rubbing on everything. Everything holding the camera, all the lights, me, everything. He is quite the love button. He's a little needy. But I honestly have never met a shelter cat that isn't initially very needy. He's also a very pretty boy. So it's hard to get too angry or stay too angry because he's just so darn cute. Look at these feet though. He's got some big feet. You got big feet. Okay, so we're going to create 2 puff stitches in each chain space between the puff stitches in the first row, which should give us 12 stitches when we complete this row. And I am bringing up my working yarn just to try to tack it down with this next set of puff stitches. So we're going to yarn over, go into, here's this next stitch, here's the next chain space. We're going to go into that chain space, yarn over and pull up. Make sure you got some space there, you got a little slack, yarn over through that same hole, pull up. I have 5 on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain to lock it. Yarn over into the same space we just did the first one in, yarn over, pull up, yarn over through the same space, yarn over, pull up, pull through all 5, chain to lock. Okay. I'm just going to keep doing that for the rest of this row. 12. This is the end of our second row. As you can see, we actually do not have a chain space left to crochet into that we have not already crocheted into. This is where I'm going to slip stitch with this stitch that I've marked from the last row. So we're going to go right through there. I take the stitch marker, sorry about that, take the stitch marker out, yarn over, and just pull through. And there we go. There's round 2. And we have 12 stitches. Now we're going to start with the increase on the third row. And that is going to be 1 puff stitch in the first space, 2 puff stitches in the next space, 1 in the next, 2 in the next, all the way around until you get back to the first stitch of this row, which we are going to make right now. And please don't forget, you're going to want to make that stitch in the hole directly underneath where your crochet hook is. Okay, so you're going to yarn over, go into that space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over into that space, yarn over, pull up. We have 5 on our hook, yarn over, pull through. The next space, we're going to put 2 puff stitches in. So yarn over into the next space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, same space, yarn over, pull up. We have 5 on the hook, through all 5, chain to lock. We're going to do another one in that same space. Yarn over, through the space, yarn over again, pull up, through all 5, chain to lock. So now we have 3. 1 in our first, 2 in our second. We're going to do 1 in our third, 2 in our fourth. And we're going to keep doing that until we come back here. Okay, we're at the end, and I'm going to slip stitch with this stitch. I just took the stitch marker out so that it wasn't in my way. Go right in there and just slip stitch to combine. We're going to put our first puff stitch into the space directly below where our hook is. We're going to yarn over through that space underneath the hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over in that space, yarn over, pull up. We have 5 on the hook, pull that through. First one is always the hardest, guys. Just be patient. It'll pull through. Okay, now that is the stitch that we put our stitch marker on, or that I put my stitch marker on. Put that right there. Chain to lock it down. We're going to put 1 puff stitch in the next chain space. So yarn over into the space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over into the space, yarn over, pull up. 5 on the hook, pull through all 5, chain to lock it in. The next space, we're going to put 2 puff stitches in. So yarn over into the space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over into the space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain to lock, yarn over into the space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over into the space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain to lock it. So we've done a single, a single, a double, and we're going to continue with that pattern all the way around. A single, a double, a single, a double, until we come back and we meet back at this first stitch. I will see you then. Now we are going to slip stitch to combine right here, and you should have 24 stitches at the end of this row. We're going to start this row just like we did the last ones. We're going to do a single puff stitch into the space directly below where our hook is right now. So yarn over in the space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over in the space, yarn over, pull up. There's 5 on the hook, pull through. Again, just remember, just be a little patient. It'll come through. Now we're going to put our stitch marker on that stitch that is on our hook. See where that is? And we are going to chain to lock it down. Now we are going to do a single puff stitch in the next 2 spaces. So yarn over in the space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over in the space, yarn over, pull up. We've got 5 on the hook, pull through all, chain to lock down. Do another single puff stitch in the 3rd space. All right. And now in the 4th space, we're going to do a double. Next one in the same space, through and chain to lock it. So beginning of row 5, we have a single, a single, a single, a double. Okay, single, 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 double. We are going to do that exact pattern. We're just going to repeat that pattern, single, 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 double in the next spaces until we come back around. Once we get back around, I will meet you there. Hi everyone, we've met up with the beginning. At the end of row 5, you should have 30 stitches. Now I'm going to slip stitch to combine. I took the marker out, but I know where I was. It was right there. And we're going to slip stitch to combine. Row 5 was the end of our increased rows. So now we are going to be doing 1 puff stitch in each space for a total of 30 stitches. And you're going to begin in the same spot beneath your hook as you have been all along. Yarn over in that space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over in that space, yarn over, pull up through all 5. Oh, It's gonna fight me a little bit. There we go. Now I'm gonna put my marker on and chain to lock it down. Okay, so you're just gonna do that in every space all the way around until you get back here, and then you're gonna slip stitch just like we've been doing, and you're gonna continue on. You're going to do that for row 6 through row 14. I suggest that you measure the head of the person that you are making this for, so that you know how long it actually needs to be. If you look at this, it's about an inch, inch and a quarter. So if I want it to be 8 inches from the crown to the edge, subtract the inch and a quarter, and that's how long this needs to be. That's how many rows you need to make of this. This is all variable. You can make this 2 inches wide if you want. You can make it a half an inch, whatever you like, whatever floats your boat. We are going to do rows 6 through whatever length you want. We're going to continue around, 1 in each space. Hey everybody, we're back. And I have now completed all of the rows of my hat that I want to complete. Full disclosure, it's been a couple of weeks actually since I made the first portion of the video. And if you remember, I had said that I was going to use 2 wraps per puff stitch. And I got most of the way through the hat and I realized I just didn't actually like how that looked. So I went back, I took the whole thing out, and I went back and I restarted my hat. And here I am where we were before, and I did do 3. So, you know, yarn over into the hole, pull up, yarn over, did that 3 times, and then I would pull through and close the puff stitch. I've just slip stitched to close this last round. The next step is we're going to single crochet in every stitch and every space. And we are gonna single crochet in the first puff stitch. Now a single crochet is you go into the stitch, yarn over, pull it through. So you have 2 on your hook, then you yarn over and pull through both. And there's a single crochet. Now we're going to single crochet in the gap. And you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either try to catch the whole thing minus just the piece on the bottom of the stitch, or you can just go through the gap. And I am just gonna go through the gap. Through the stitch, yarn over, pull out, yarn over, pull through both. Into the gap, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. And we are going to do that all the way until we meet back up at the beginning. And I'm going to put a stitch marker in here. You should have ended with 30 puff stitches. Now there should be 60 stitches because we're making a stitch in each puff and each gap. I'm going to meet you back here at the beginning. We are back and I have completed a single crochet in each puff stitch and each gap all the way around, and I have just taken out my stitch marker and I am going to single crochet into that stitch. I'll bring this up here, hopefully you guys can see. I'm going to go right through that stitch. And you're going to pick up, yarn over, pick up your yarn, pull through. And I'm going to mark that first stitch of this row. In order to complete the rest of the hat, you're going to just do that exact same thing around and around until the band of the hat is the width that you'd like it to be. And then you're going to just tie off and weave in your ends. I will meet you back here when I've completed that on my hat, and we will create the pom-pom and attach it, which will complete our hat. We're back. I have finished the band on my hat. I am using the 2.5 inch. Okay, so you see how these open up? All of this goodness. Just open half of it, okay? Grab your yarn. I'm gonna double my yarn. You take your pom-pom maker and you just start wrapping the yarn around it, okay? And it's probably helpful to try to make it seem fairly smooth. It's very full, good to go. Trim, cut this side now that it's full. Close it, then we'll come over here and start on this side again. And they get a little wonky there. Sometimes starting it can be a little bit challenging, but It's fine. Just give it a few. And so I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side that I did on the other, and we'll chat again once I'm done. We are once again full. I'm going to trim this. There we go. Now we're going to cut right in the center groove. Okay, everybody, we have trimmed. It's cut now. So we're going to take a couple of lengths of yarn. You want it, you're going to be using this to create the center, but it's also what you're going to use to tie this onto the hat. So give yourself enough. Find the middle. Okay, so here's the middle. And now you're going to slide this piece of yarn down into that groove between them. You're going to pull. All right, and then I go again. All right, now you tie it. Just regular old knot right down into there. Okay, and then another right down into there again. And that is your pom-pom. Now we got to get it out of here. So what you do is you take off move these out of the way. Okay. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I know this is difficult. Then you take the other side, move those out, and this pops out. There we go. And that's back the way it is. And here you have your pom-pom. So give it a good yank, fluff it up. And then give it a trim, give it a little haircut so that all these little longer pieces are a little bit more in line with the rest of your pom-pom. Or if you like it kind of wild, leave them long, whatever you want. It's all about you and your creativity and what you want your pom-poms to look like. I like to have a neater pom-poms. Here is my pom-pom. And to attach this, you get out your yarn needle. Thread it. Okay. And then I find the very top. This was where you started your hat, your magic circle, and I go straight down into there. Now I have already woven in my ends inside and at the base. So that's why you aren't going to see the yarn from where I started, because I've already wound it in. So I've pulled down and I'm going to basically weave in and out. There we go. Okay, now I want you to go back up through that hole that you brought it down into and just go right through the center of your pom-pom again. Just take your yarn needle, pull up into the pom-pom. Give it a good yank. Hold your finger down there, and as you pull this, you can feel it yank on the yarn. Now, pick a spot that's near where you came up through in your pom-pom, but not exact. Go back down again until you come out somewhere near the center. Pull down. Now, you might have caught some of your ends, so you're going to want to just kind of, oh, I pulled a couple loose. Not the end of the world. Give your pom-pom another little trim. Simple enough. And now your pom-pom's on there pretty good. It's pretty tight. And so we're going to weave. Oops, I wasn't even in. Turn around and go in the opposite direction. There we go. And one more time, turn back. Go in the opposite direction again. Okay. Then I go all the way around and then I make a knot. I know some people don't make knots. I make knots because whatever. Like I just made this. I don't want it to come apart, so I'm going to make a knot. And if, you know, somebody tells you and you like making knots and somebody tells you but you're not supposed to make a knot, whatever. Tell them you didn't make a knot and make your knot, because really, what difference does it make? Okay, that's trimmed off, and look what we've got now. We have our hat. So that will go into the wash. I'm sure when it comes out of the wash, it'll probably need another little trim, you know, just give it a little love, a little bit of attention. Okay. So here we go. So everybody, here are our hats. They're completed. My niece Ryan's, my niece Charlotte's. Okay, everybody, if you crocheted along with us and made yourself a hat, comment down below and let me know how it went. Or if you are planning on creating a hat and you have questions, do that below as well, and I'll do my best to answer them. But I will see you back here soon, where we will work on a matching scarf. You have a great day, and we will see you back here next time.